So now I'll tell you another life story. Back in days, there was this famous doll called Barbie, and they made a movie about it. They did, they did. Right, it had Marco Robbie in it, right? Yeah, from neighbours and that. So I'll tell you the wonderful story about, Barbie, not Cindy. I don't think they've made a movie like that. No, they haven't. No. Back in the humble days, it was Marco Robbie. Now, she was an actress, right, in the humble days back in, she did quite a few movies, as you know. Before she got the big role of one of the most popular characters on the bloody planet. You couldn't get her away from this symbol, because Marco Robbie played this character, as you know. We'll be talking about the one and only, one of the greatest roles as Marco Robbie might be remembered for. Not Harley Quinn, no, but Barbie. Yes, that famous doll. Yes, it was. So where can I go with this? Well, things can be very complicated, obviously, in life. But obviously, with Marco Robbie, she's done quite a few roles in, movies and, yes, the humble TV, but yeah, movies as we're going to stick with, because she was in a role for a very iconic part of history, I could say, because obviously, I could talk all about all the ancient history. I mean, it does mention it, about Barbie, but Marco, she's done all this acting, and is it about her? Well, obviously she's in it, and yes. So I was expecting some great performing acting in it, obviously, because it is on a very cool, delicate story in ancient history, and that's what I thought the movie was going to be about. Talking about the vintage dilemmas of Barbie, and the struggles and the stuff, how it was, because there's some history, about well, technically, because we all know Marco's in it, and the movie does comment about, literally she's in it as well, because it tells you, and it sort of leaves it on, you've got to wait for the prequel, and you'll know.
You're Ruth from Mattel.
Baby, I am Mattel. Until the IRS got to me, but that's another movie.
So it might be interesting to actually know that, Barbie wasn't Barbie at the humble beginnings. No, it was Lily. She was a blonde-haired secretary, right? What filled the page on a magazine called Build in 1952. Now, this doll was a novelty doll for men. Yes. Maybe this is why we get a lot of men collecting Barbie dolls. I mean, if you catch a bus, you can see maybe where this is going. Or do I put another clip on the movie?
I can't control you any more than I could control my own daughter. I named you after her, Barbara.
So, it's back strange again, isn't it, as I'm saying? Yes. So, Actually, how Barbie might have been discovered was how they discovered a Lily doll up in the Swiss Alps in a toy shop. But technically, Lily was a novelty bachelor party doll for men. As I said, it was German, so obviously she bought it and she took it to America and merchandised it and packaged it, and nobody couldn't sue her because of it, because they had more scary big lawyers. And obviously, in 1952 when Lily was created, and obviously there've been some few years from a big incidents, like Second World War might be a good reason, but your granddad might not be intellectually good on the advice on this, because there's some hidden messages in this movie, right? And I can't explain everything. It's like the humble days, as I just mentioned about that bloke with his bus, that was quite, you might think that's odd, but yes, Barbie was one of the biggest hoarder of vehicles, and obviously it had a lot of influence for many men around the time when you was around at the time. Yes, there was, little grandson. You might have seen your dad and me, on a classic game online called GTA 5, right? That classic game. And you might have noticed that, we might have been driving little pink cars. Well, obviously, I was doing silly little things like that when I was on the best automatic, because the idea on driving online with a pink car, does that make you a target for young men to kill, or something else? Because it was very interesting to see the bizarre behaviour, how online players behaved when they saw a little pink car, because I get the impression, they hate it because they think I'm a girl driving it, or they might think I'm a girl and thinking, they can mate with me, or they might realise that I am somebody catfishing or doing some rubbishy car program, and that could have been most likely, because obviously the best automatic was the most not popular car program that nobody didn't want to watch, because obviously, we did do some strange antics in this Wallaby car series, as I would say. And at the time, there's some images, not in the program, but I got some images that when we went scouting for a major episode, that we had to, there's meant to be 3 of us. There might have been a very popular car program way back in the heyday. It got popular later on, when Jeremy Clarkson had more control. Yes, this man was quite great, what sort of created this very good program, what made a lot of money for the BBC, and the next thing, history made out that they don't like people successful, and obviously they didn't like him punching people and stuff, and they got rid of him, and obviously he moved on to anism, and obviously he did intellectual farming programs later on, like another very famous TV channel does, ITV, what does Emmerdale, what a lot of folk like to watch, and that was meant to be like farming and stuff. And talking about farming, we're not going to be talking about farming, but Barbie's known for having farming vehicles and toys and the animals and all that lot. And this is one of them controversial things we did, talking about Barbie, because vehicles again, toy cars and that. I mean, even when the movie came out, this movie, the people had this argument of what gender of vehicle somebody should have. Like your dad was driving a pink Coquette in GTA, so was I, but most people thought, no, you got to have it in blue. And if you could tell by how they sold the merchandise, you had pink and blue, and there was that colour-coded, that girls were meant to have pink and boys were meant to have blue, but once upon a time it used to be the other way around as well, grandson. And I know I'm rambling, but yes, as I am trying to be fair, that that grandad was doing this program, as I mentioned again, the Best Automatic it was called, and we did go to a part of history where people had to not depend on vehicles, they had to depend on to carry heavy goods, not by rail or trains, that came later on, but canals. And there's a very famous canal tunnel, what's meant to be the highest in the UK, and it's in Yorkshire, as you know, because it's Stanage Tunnel. And yes, it might be 3.5 miles, but a lot of lives were, lost creating that tunnel. And obviously we've been there, and it's been reopened for a while, but obviously, and you can go in with electric boat, but we didn't do it at that time when you were that young. But obviously, your granddad was talking about the history a bit on this program, and obviously the mad adventures we were doing is like that. Like there's a famous race called the Baja 1000 in Mexico, and obviously we weren't doing a race like that, but technically we do look it like that, because obviously we were doing the race over the moors, as there's a very, very famous race where we raced the boat and to go over the Pennines, and we thought we could use these cars, what you might see in that classic game GTA 5. Yeah, it's based on a 2CV, and obviously we weren't going to do it on GTA, but obviously we thought we could do it for real, but then we couldn't, because it is very dangerous, and it could be not very, it's a big bloody fire hazard, that's what I should be saying, grandson, because it was, and we didn't. But obviously we thought we would go the high-tech approach at the time. Well, at the time, before AI got really more popular and took over, we had to depend on a very old vintage thing called green screen, and some people sort of noticed that you could tell from the difference, and obviously how amateur it is and stuff. But our mad adventures to get over the moors in these 3 vehicles, well, yes, but obviously we were thinking about using maybe a larger object, like Barbie vehicles mostly, but because Ken does have a vehicle, but obviously it's mostly Barbie owns it, really. Even in the movie, that Barbie owns Ken, as your man might think, when we're watching this movie, as you know. But there is some messages there, and yeah.
This is my dream house. It is my dream house. It's my.
Marco Robbie kicking off with Ken. Little blonde hair henchman, James Bond villain Ken. Technically, obviously, yeah, because he's got blonde hair, and everyone has that typical stereotype. Lucky enough, he wasn't one in Diamonds Forever, but obviously, we might as well do that. But yeah, the thing is, what I'm getting at, little grandson, you know, when we were watching it, and we saw Ken standing with Ken, and Barbie's got to go to the real world. Now, actually, I was like scratching my head how to work out how does the real world work to Barbie world, and obviously I did find questions thinking how when Ken went hiding like some weird serial killer, you know, like them movies we've been watching, you know, them murderers were always stalking women or wanting to do stuff, you know, like these, and well, he managed to sneak in their backseat when all the friends were around it, and I'm like, how did he do that? I mean, that is creepy, and it's just amazing, isn't it, how the Barbie movie is, isn't it, little grandson?
Why would she be sad? We fixed everything so that all women in the real world can be happy and powerful.
Not many girls were bloody happy, you know, when they saw that scary movie, you know, the ones we might have been watching, you know, like creepy men hiding in cars, you know, getting them, and you know, doing odd weird things and stuff, you know, because there's all these gruesome movies, and obviously I think when Ken did that gives a gentle reminder, because obviously later on Ken gets a bit when it comes to our real world, that well, imagine if Ken saw some of these bloody movies we've been bloody watching, and you can think, bloody hell, imagine if he starts doing that when he gets back into the Barbie world, because obviously that's where I feel like Mattel is like this great big policing unit or something, Monty, in the movie, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's really you know, a bit worrying, thinking, you know, that Barbie's come to our world and she might get her hands on some of these movies, because it was at the time these movies are kicking about everywhere, and she could have got her hands on some of them, you know, it'd been bloody scary, you know, and it could have been an ultimate different world of Barbie world, I would say. And obviously, I think she must like it, because obviously, you know, near the end of the movie, we all know that she wants to come a lady instead of a doll, won't she? So, yeah, well, maybe she's already seen them movies, I don't know, but anyhow, the point is right, never mind they're talking about the movies, them scary ones, but the thing is, what I got the impression of, you know, when Ken was hiding in the seat, maybe he's that good because of the colour pink, and we all know that ladies, well, meant to be typical stereotype ladies, meant to be, you know, fixated in pink, you know, wearing pink, but technically is it still boys what want their colour back, you know, because maybe if the world was like Barbie, I think Ken was dressed up pink, wasn't he? And I think obviously with the world being pink, well, Barbie world's being pink, that, yeah, obviously he would have been camouflaged in that bank seat, you know, and I think, yeah, it's camouflaging into it, and yeah, so, you know, maybe that's why nobody didn't notice him, because obviously the seats are pink, he's going to be all pink, even his big blonde mullet of hair was sticking out, but he might have been wearing a hat, and then all of a sudden he took it off very quick and then appeared in behind Barbie and scared the, you know, well, he scared her, didn't he? That's some bloody horror movie type, movie, isn't it? But, yeah, well, obviously, it's a very complex movie, this, isn't it? Little grandson, isn't it? Aye.
She looks even better in more clothes.
Because you can imagine more.
You know what?
Gum, it is a bit terrifying to think, this movie could be the one, is the worst movie we might have tried to study, because all these movies we've been watching, little grandson, and it gets you in your back of your head, doesn't it? I think, well, your granddad does, doesn't he? Seeing all these movies, thinking, yeah, that time when Ken was in the real world, he would have had access to these movies, because obviously we know later on, when he gets back to his own world, that how did he change stuff so quickly, what I mean? Maybe he did bring some copies of them movies, but obviously, I mean, they're trying to blame, in the movie, because he had some obsession with horses, didn't he? And I'm like, well, we do sushi, cowboys and, horses, don't we? That great means of transport. But obviously, men with horses, and obviously we've used horses for war and battle and stuff and all that lot, but obviously when it comes down to Barbie, there's, these strange things, if you really think about it, well, I am, that, we've just adjusted about the colour pink, and obviously, who is the biggest order of vehicles? Now, who has got the biggest variety of vehicles? Well, only one person I really know, in the toy thing, is always going to be beloved Barbie. And you always think of these, petrol heads, always collecting real cars, and I'm trying to really think technical about this, little grandson, because I know everyone keeps complaining that I keep showing you these movies, but I've been trying to understand this movie, and in Grandad's way and all that lot, but we'll put a bit more on, and just to try to establish what the hell's going on. I think that'd be right. Yeah, I mean, yes.
If this got out that our dolls were coming to Los Angeles from Barbie Land as life-size versions of themselves, roaming the earth.
It is a terrifying thought to think that full-scale, massive dolls are walking around in LA. I mean, obviously, there would have been a clue where them strange vehicles appearing in LA, especially with all that disaster, like that bomb movie, Diamonds Forever, with the heat ray and that. But never mind that, little grandson. So, in the movie is another famous actress. Now, she was on the BBC once upon a time, and maybe still is, but the thing is, though, she managed to do a movie, as I've mentioned before to you, haven't we? It's, Promising Young Woman, Emerald Fennell, right? And she plays the famous, iconic Mattel Pregnant Midge. And nobody didn't know how the dolls managed to do that, getting pregnant and that, because a lot of people thought, well, ain't they made out of rubber, and don't rubber stop people getting pregnant? And I went, oh, this is getting very, very complicated. But it's a very popular toy for girls, but even though made for boys, but some reason. But well, yes, grandson. It is very complicated, I know, but I think, we're showing all these scary movies, and we've been going through a big massive list of them, haven't we? And obviously, like I mentioned, Emerald Fennell's movie, with all these variety of movies, and I'm saying it a lot because I think this is one of the most scariest ones of all, isn't it, little grandson? So here's a little bit more of it then. Ooh, scary, isn't it? Wow.
What is that? Anxiety. I have it too. They're just awful at this age.
That's right, little grandson. Interesting, isn't it, about the anxiety? Like they always say about all these movies we've been putting on for you to watch, because obviously we're studying all these, type of movies that obviously, give Emerald Fennell, ideas to do her own subjects, and we all know that Margot Robbie was the producer for Emerald's movie, what got her an Oscar in Promising Young Woman, but we're not talking about that because we're on about Barbie, and obviously, that is a major thing, isn't it, to, all these movies and this, and I keep saying a lot about this, and there's a lot more into this Barbie movie, because there is some stuff that, what is it referring as? Because all these movies I keep watching, that it has something to do with something to, that granddad's struggling with. That's what I'm saying, little grandson. So obviously,
The real world isn't what I thought it was.
It never is.
That's right, it is a strange world, I suppose. How folk play with their Barbies or what, because obviously what we're not really establishing, that little grandson, that boys and girls play with their dolls in a different way, because obviously like Hugh Hefner, I think, when he had his Barbie dolls or something, he has a different perspective on it and all that lot. And having a Barbie mansion, like the Playboy mansion, I mean, obviously, maybe that, but because all these movies I keep showing you and all this lot, it is actually a bit confusing and a bit bizarre to think that I'm not very good at explaining what's really going on with the movie. Well, I do, but don't, because I'll put another clip on.
Do this. You've been making women feel bad about themselves since you were invented.
So even young ladies criticise Barbie, because yes, there is that ultimate difference in their little grandson, that technically, as I mentioned before, about that the doll, that size doll, was created for men to dress up, so, but it was German, so obviously, the Americans want to jump in the market as well, and obviously, as you can tell, it's a very popular toy to buy, and obviously, when you see lots of things like pink, I would say, like ladies wearing pink dresses and stuff, as we all know, and all that lot, and all them weird movies we've been sort of like trying to analyse, because it's, just odd, but, it is strange how to, explain, the contents of them, or the situation of the Barbie movie, because a lot of folk didn't really expect what this movie was going to be. I didn't know about the ultimate world of going into a toy world, and it'll look cool and maybe exciting or something, but obviously we can gather that, you know, the intellectual facts of this movie are there, these hidden gems, you know, and it is so amazing that you know when you have some elderly person, your granddad, to advise you about about the Barbie movie, because you're young and sweet and all that lot. I mean, you're not gonna just look it up on the internet, because that's the idea, you know. You go on the internet and bloody find that out, you know, on that ancient, you know, technology, you know, the internet. But you know, it was, you know, some folk thought back in my time it was simple, but you know, bloody hell, just playing with big chunks of plastic and using your imagination. But now we've got all this high-tech equipment. I mean, you expect your dolls to, you know, to have, proper technology in it, and you know, not just some simple little things and that. And you know. Is Barbie based on a real person? And there's so many questions you keep asking me, little grandson, and I'm trying to, you know, because obviously we've seen the movie, but obviously, you know, I'm playing bits because just to recap what really happened in the movie. And obviously, how can a grandad in me, because I'm from Yorkshire, as you all know, that, you know, how do I explain this movie? Because by heck, it's a bit of a struggle, I would say. So I suppose we'll have to analyse this movie again, little grandson, and hopefully, you know, I can, you know, establish the you know, how serious it is and how educational this movie is. But for the moment, little grandson, I don't know, I'll put another clip on.
Hello? Are you two, like, shining? No.
The Shining, that's a different type of movie. We want to stick to the movies like we've been sticking to, because obviously, you know, these movies are quite intellectually a bit different compared to that. But obviously we're going on another subject, because yes, as I've been talking about, you know, there's subtle hints that it even mentions other movies, because I don't know about, you know, Shine, because everyone thinks of Sunshine and stuff like that, because it's a Barbie movie and it's all meant to be lovely and sweet, and everyone got the impression it was going to be like something like watching, you know, some lovely kiddies cartoon, you know, like that one on GTA 5. Oh no, that classic game. Ooh, my heck, yes, with that Robot Princess bubblegum. Yes, as your dad used to play on game. That's right. So, little grandson, I'm not really that much helpful on this subject with Barbie, am I, little grandson? So I think we should watch some proper intellectual movies, don't you think? And we'll leave it at that, and we'll say tidy-eye or tidy-o or whatever, you know, it's a form of goodbye, because obviously I've been watching other different type of movies, but we'll leave it at that now, little grandson, so I'll say bye for now.